Liam Carter had never been the kind of man to shy away from hard work. From the moment he and Emma exchanged vows, he had promised to give her everything. The home she dreamed of, the security she deserved, the kind of love that endured a lifetime. Long hours at the office, back-to-back shifts at the construction site, the relentless grind of exhaustion sinking into his bones. None of it mattered as long as it meant a better life for them. Every dollar he earned went toward their shared dreams. The cozy home they had built together, the vacations Emma loved, the little luxuries that made her eyes light up with joy. And Emma, always so tender, would whisper as she nestled against his chest when he finally collapsed into bed after another grueling shift. "I appreciate everything you do for us, Liam. I love you." And he believed her. Why wouldn't he? Their life had been built brick by brick, side by side, with love as its foundation. But what Liam didn't know was that cracks had already begun to form beneath the surface, and soon, everything he had worked for would come crumbling down. That night had been like any other. Liam returned home late, muscles aching from the weight of another back-breaking day. The house was dimly lit, the quiet hum of the refrigerator the only sound breaking the stillness. Emma had already gone to bed, leaving a small note on the kitchen counter. "Dinner in the fridge. Love you." A faint smile tugged at his lips as he read the words, a flicker of warmth in his exhausted heart. Pouring himself a cup of coffee, he settled at the kitchen table, preparing to tackle the end-of-month bills. He opened his laptop, logged into their bank account, expecting to see the usual expenses: mortgage, utilities, groceries. But then, something caught his eye. At first, it barely registered. A boutique he didn't recognize. A jewelry store. A high-end restaurant. Thousands of dollars, spent and gone. His brow furrowed as he clicked through the transactions, scrolling past the dates and locations. These weren't small, careless purchases. These were deliberate. Extravagant. Hidden in plain sight, nestled between mundane grocery receipts and utility payments as if someone had tried to blend them in. His heart pounded. A gift for him? No, he would have known. A surprise. Emma would have told him. A sickening weight settled deep in his chest. His fingers trembled as he scrolled further. Another charge, $3,200 at a luxury jewelry store. Another, $800 at a high-end watch boutique. Men's clothing. A 5-star hotel. His breath caught in his throat. His stomach twisted into a suffocating knot. These weren't gifts for him. A whirlwind of disbelief and dread surged through him, his pulse hammering in his ears. He searched for an explanation, any explanation that didn't lead him to the truth clawing at the edges of his sanity. Maybe she had bought gifts for family. Maybe there was some rational reason for it all. But deep down, he already knew. Emma, his Emma, was spending their money on another man. The realization struck like a blade to the chest, sharp and unforgiving. The weight of every sacrifice he had made, every hour of overtime, every missed moment, bore down on him all at once. He had given her everything. And in return, she had given him deception in its cruelest form. Emma had already discarded him. Liam clenched his fists, his nails biting into his palms, the pain grounding him even as his mind spiraled. Who was he? The man she had chosen while Liam worked himself to the bone. The one she had been giving everything to, the time, the affection, the stolen moments that were supposed to be his? The realization twisted deep, like a knife carving through his chest, sharper with every second. She had looked him in the eyes, whispered that she loved him, reassured him that his sacrifices meant something. But it had all been a lie. His home, his marriage, his entire reality, it wasn't real anymore. He sat in the dim glow of the living room, elbows resting on his knees, fingers interlocked as if holding himself together. The house felt different now. Colder. Emptier. A stranger's home rather than his own. The bank statements lay scattered across the coffee table, their numbers glaring up at him like an unspoken accusation. Jewelry. Hotels. A men's clothing store. Each transaction whispered the truth he could no longer ignore. Betrayal had a price, and tonight, Emma would have to face it. The clock ticked on, each second stretching endlessly, filling the silence with its maddening rhythm. Then, finally, the front door creaked open. Emma stepped inside, humming softly as she set her purse on the counter. She looked radiant, her hair neatly styled, makeup flawless, too perfect for someone who had just spent the evening at a friend's house, as she had texted him earlier. She turned toward the living room, expecting nothing, and then, she froze. Liam was waiting. His face unreadable, eyes shadowed by the dim light. His presence alone felt heavier than the room could hold. Her smile wavered. "Liam, you're still up." A hesitation. A flicker of something in her expression. Guilt, fear, calculation. Then, just as quickly, she shifted tactics. Tears welled in her eyes, her body trembling as she took a step forward. "Please, it's not what you think. It didn't mean anything." Liam exhaled sharply, shaking his head. "Not what I think." His voice was quiet, but there was no mistaking the razor's edge beneath it. "Then tell me, Emma, what does this mean?" He snatched a bank statement from the table, fingers tightening around the paper as he held it up. "The jewelry, the hotels, the men's clothing store. Tell me what all of this means if it's not what I already know." She blinked rapidly, her breath hitching, her mind scrambling for an escape. But there was none. And she knew it. Her shoulders slumped. A choked sob escaped her lips. "I was lonely, Liam," she whispered, her voice barely more than air. "You were never here. I didn't plan for this to happen. It just happened." Liam's jaw clenched. His fingers curled into fists at his sides, not in anger, not in violence, but in pain. He had spent years working, pushing himself past exhaustion, believing, truly believing, that he was building something with her. A life. A future. A foundation strong enough to withstand anything. But in the end, it hadn't been strong enough to withstand her. His voice was hollow when he finally spoke again. "I was breaking myself to give you everything, and you gave me nothing but betrayal." Emma reached for his hand, her eyes pleading. "Liam, please." But he stepped back. And in that moment, he knew. There was nothing left to fight for. Without another word, he turned away, walking toward the door. Every step felt like a blade carving through him, but he kept moving. He left behind the house he had worked so hard for. He left behind the dreams they had once shared. And most of all, he left behind the woman he had once believed was his forever. Liam didn't look back. The cold night air hit him like a slap, sharp, unforgiving, honest. Just like the truth he had uncovered. Would she try to win him back? Would she cry, promise to change, swear that she still loved him? Maybe. Would he let her? No. Because some betrayals don't just break hearts. They destroy the very idea of love itself.